Welcome to How to Cook That. I'm Ann Reardon and today we're making a yummy chocolate mousse dessert wrapped in a spiral of marshmallow sitting on a coconut biscuit with a raspberry jelly in the middle. This week's Notification Squad shout out goes to Along Apu. For your chance at a shout out, subscribe and press the bell to turn on notifications and write done in the comments so I know that you have done so. To make the raspberry jelly we need raspberries, sugar, water and gelatin sheets, and I'll put all the recipe quantities on the howtocookthat.net website for you in grams and ounces and cups, and there's a link to that below. Add the gelatin sheets to the water and leave them to soak. Then add the sugar to the raspberries and blend it on high speed until you have a liquid of yummy fresh raspberry puree. Pour that into a fine sieve and push it through using the back of a spoon. Just stir it around and around so you end up with all the seeds at the top and all of that puree through into the bowl. Pour about 1/3 of that mixture into a pan and heat it until it just starts to boil. Then squeeze the water from the gelatin sheets and add them into the hot raspberries, and then you just need to stir that until they are dissolved. Tip the hot raspberries into the cold one and mix them together well. By not heating the whole thing, just heating 1/3 of it, it means that it will set a lot quicker for you. Pour that into a tray lined with plastic wrap, or if you don't have a tray, you could just use a cardboard box and line that, and then put that in the freezer for about an hour to set. For the biscuit bases, we need 1 egg, desiccated coconut, flour, baking powder, icing sugar, and butter. Put the icing sugar, butter and coconut into a bowl and mix it until it forms a pale coloured paste. Add in the egg and mix that together well, then turn it onto low speed and add in the flour and the baking powder and just keep mixing those until you can't see any more flour and it's all mixed in. Roll out the biscuit dough on some non-stick baking paper, and I find this easiest to do if you put some plastic wrap over the top while you're rolling it. Remove the plastic and cut circles about 1 centimetre apart from each other. Then just remove the dough from in between the cookies, slide it onto a baking tray and bake those in the oven until they're golden. Check on your raspberry jelly. Mine is just starting to get icy around the outside. Use a small cookie cutter to cut circles of the jelly, and these need to be a little bit smaller than the bases because they're going to go in the centre of the desserts. Once you've cut these, just cover it in plastic wrap and store them in the fridge until you're ready to use them. Now to make our rich chocolate mousse, we need cream, chocolate, and I've got a mixture of milk and dark chocolate in there, egg yolks, sugar, water, and more water to bloom the gelatin. Add the gelatin into the water and then whip the cream to soft peaks so it looks like this. Then place that bowl in the fridge while we do the next part. Put a pan on the stovetop with a little water in it and then put a heat-proof bowl on top of that. Into the bowl add water, sugar and egg yolks and whisk those together, continuing to whisk it over the heat. The steam from the water underneath will heat up the bottom of the bowl, and then as it's getting hotter, just add in the gelatin and then keep whisking it until the sugar and the gelatin are dissolved and you've got a hot egg yolk mixture that's frothy and pale. Melt the chocolate in the microwave and then stir in about half of the egg yolk mixture, and once that is smooth, pour it into the egg yolks and whisk them together. Add 1/3 of the cream into this chocolate mixture and whisk it through, and then add that into the rest of your cream and fold it through gently so you keep as much air in your mousse as possible. Pour some mousse into a hemisphere mould. Now if you don't have a hemisphere mould, you can just get creative. Try putting plastic wrap over a bowl or a cup and pouring some mousse into that, and then add a disc of raspberry jelly in the middle of each dessert. These look so yummy already. Then level off the tops and place them in the freezer overnight. To make the marshmallow, we need glucose syrup, water, a pinch of cream of tartar, sugar, another bowl of water, plus the gelatin sheets. Place the gelatin sheets in the water so they can soften, and while they are soaking, add the sugar, water and cream of tartar into the saucepan with the glucose syrup. Heat that over high heat, then add a candy thermometer to the side and keep heating it until it reaches 114 degrees C. Remove that from the heat and pour it into a mixing bowl. Squeeze out the water from the gelatin and add that in and stir it until it's melted, and then whisk on high speed until it goes white and frothy and starts to get sticky. Place that into a piping bag and pipe onto a tray of desiccated coconut, just in long lines. Now, if you don't like coconut, you could use corn flour here, or sprinkles, or chopped nuts, whatever you like. You're going to be able to see it on top, so make it look pretty. Then just leave those at room temperature to set. To make the glaze, we need glucose syrup, cream, cocoa powder, sugar, powdered gelatin, 1/3 cup of water, plus more water. Put the 1/3 cup of water in with your gelatin and mix that together quickly, and then just leave that to one side. Then add the water and the cream and the sugar into the pan and heat that until it just starts to boil. Remove it from the heat and add in the gelatin, stirring until it's dissolved. Then shake the cocoa powder through a sieve, making sure you don't have any lumps of cocoa powder there, and then whisk that into the glaze. Finally, for the glaze, we just want to pour that through a fine sieve again, just to make sure there are no lumps. We want the glaze to be totally smooth, and then just leave that to cool to room temperature. Once it is cool, it will be thick like this. To thin it down, take a big spoonful and put it into a separate bowl and heat that up in the microwave. Once it's hot and thin, tip it into the rest and stir it through. And continue to do that a couple of times until you get a nice thick but pourable consistency like this. Tip the frozen mousse out of the mould, just pushing it out of the silicone there, onto a cooling rack that is sitting over a tray. Then just ladle the glaze over the desserts, letting the excess drip down onto the tray. Carefully lift up the mousse and place it onto one of the biscuit bases. Now take a marshmallow and, starting at the top, wrap it around your dessert a few times in a spiral, finishing at the base. And you can just leave it like that, or you can add a few sprinkles onto the glaze. Allow those to defrost in the fridge for a few hours, and then they are ready to be enjoyed. Subscribe to How to Cook That for more cakes, chocolates and desserts. Put all of your requests in the comments below. Make it a great week, and I'll see you on Friday.